Before you help that person again, ask yourself this: are you blessing them or cursing them? The Bible reveals something shocking. Helping the wrong person isn't love. It's sin, and it's destroying both of you. In the next 12 minutes, I'll show you the 7 types Scripture warns you not to help. Miss this, and you'll keep bleeding resources while watching people get worse, not better. Here's what nobody told you. Jesus said no more than he said yes. He let the rich young ruler walk away. He told his disciples there would always be poor among them, because indiscriminate helping isn't biblical, it's enabling. And enabling is a curse disguised as a blessing. 2 Thessalonians 3 verse 10 says, if anyone is not willing to work, let him not eat. Notice it says not willing, not unable. This reveals God's heart about entitlement. Here's how you'll recognize them. They get angry when you say no. That's entitlement, not need. When you help an entitled person, you're not showing love, you're feeding their pride. The second type is more subtle. The person who lives from emergency to emergency. Always in crisis. Always needs immediate rescue. Always has drama. But here's what you'll notice. Their crises are usually self-created. When you rescue the crisis addict, you're not helping. You're enabling their addiction to drama. Here's the boundary you need to set. I can't keep providing emergency help. You need to learn to plan. The third type is even more draining. The person who takes but never acknowledges. They receive your help, they never reciprocate, even when they can. Luke 17 shows us Jesus healed 10 lepers. Only one came back to thank him. Jesus noticed. He said, "Were not 10 cleansed? Where are the 9? This reveals how much gratitude matters to God. Even Jesus expected gratitude. When you keep helping ungrateful people, your joy in giving dies. You start feeling used because you are being used. Here's the boundary you need to set. My help hasn't been appreciated. Until that changes, I'm directing my resources elsewhere. When you constantly rescue the perpetual victim, you rob them of the growth that only comes through struggle. Here's the boundary you need to set. I can't keep having the same conversation. When you're ready to take action, I'm here. The fifth type is the most cunning. The person who weaponizes your faith against you. If you were really a Christian, you'd help me. When you give in to manipulation, you're not serving God. You're serving fear and people-pleasing. Here's the boundary you need to set. I make decisions based on prayer and wisdom, not guilt or manipulation. The person who consistently makes bad choices and refuses wise counsel. Proverbs 23 verse 9 says, "Do not speak in the hearing of a fool, for he will despise the good sense of your words." They reject godly advice, scorn correction, repeat destructive patterns. They want your help, but not your wisdom. When you help the rebellious fool, you're subsidizing their rebellion against God. The prodigal son's father didn't chase him down. He let him hit rock bottom. It was only in the pig pen that the son came to his senses. Here's the boundary you need to set. I can't keep rescuing you from choices you refuse to change. Now that you know the 7 types, how do you discern who deserves your help? Use these 4 biblical tests. Examine their responsibility. Do they own their situation or blame others? Third, look for gratitude. Do they appreciate help or expect it? Fourth, assess their growth. Are they learning or repeating the same mistakes? You're not God. You don't have unlimited resources. You need to be a wise steward of what He's given you. When you start applying these principles, 3 things happen. The first thing that happens is you stop feeling guilty about saying no. You realize boundaries aren't selfish, they're biblical stewardship. The second thing is your resources start going to people who actually change. You see real transformation. This isn't cruelty. This is biblical stewardship. Look at how Jesus helped. He helped the centurion who showed great faith. He helped the woman who touched his garment in desperation. He helped the blind man who cried out persistently. When you stop helping the wrong people, you discover something amazing. You have more energy, more resources, and more joy for helping the right people. You're not burned out anymore. You're not resentful. You're not questioning whether generosity is worth it. Your no to the wrong person is your yes to the right person. You can learn to discern. You can become a wise steward instead of an enabler. The people you stop helping incorrectly might get angry. Let them. The people you start helping correctly will be transformed. That's worth it. I want you to make 3 commitments. Your first commitment is to pray about the people in your life. Ask God to give you discernment about who deserves your help. Your second commitment is to set boundaries with the wrong people. Use the exact words I gave you. Don't explain, don't justify, just set the boundary. Your third commitment is to redirect your resources to the right people. Find someone who's humble, grateful, responsible, and growing. Your kindness is not weakness. Your boundaries are not selfishness. Your discernment is not judgment. It's biblical stewardship.
What I'm going to say right now has a bit of an edge to it. I am trying to protect you from becoming this type of guy. You are being discipled by our culture exactly out of this, and I don't want the men of Lake Point to grow up and be a bunch of losers. Now check this out. 1 Timothy 5:8, it's a verse with a bit of an edge. It says this: if somebody does not provide for his own, especially his own household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. Are there exceptions, medical exceptions, where it's like hard time of life? Of course. But in general, this is just saying what a dude does, what a man does, is he works hard so he can provide for his family and his wife and create a situation of financial security. Now, I want to talk to our young men real quick. Here's how you become a loser and stay a loser for the rest of your life. You get into a job and you stay more focused on your hobbies than your job. So you work very half-heartedly. When you get into a job, you have no career aspirations. And then once you get into a job, you complain all the time. It's so hard and it's not fun. My job's not fun and it's not my passion. Let me just say something to you. Here's a little grandpa axiom that is 100% true. Son, you don't get up and go to fun, you get up and go to work. What a lot of young men in our culture do is they stay like boys. They carry boyhood into manhood, and they stay obsessed with their little hobbies like gaming. Instead of actually having a career aspiration, they don't work hard, and then they complain that they don't have better jobs and more money. And then instead of working harder, they just vote for people who will take money away from the people who work and make it and give it to people who don't work and won't. Now, I want to give you encouragement. If you're a young dude, let me give you some encouragement. This is what I needed to hear when I was 20 years old. Here's how the world works. The marketplace is a competition, and you are going to have to outwork other men to succeed. That's how the marketplace works. If you will just show up on time, have a good attitude, respect authority, and do what you said you were going to do, you're going to be ahead of 95% of the guys in our culture. You're going to crush.
So look through these images below with me. My company will not help lazy people. Neither will we help liars who do not know the truth. We will also not help those with bad attitudes or who are arrogant. Look here, you get what you give. Work for it. If you want it, work for it. Even dancers know this. Look at these dancers' feet, how they put in the work, how much effort they do, what it costs them. There are people around the world that have disabilities that are working, that are trying, even with huge disabilities. Look at this child, his one leg is off.
When you constantly rescue the perpetual victim, you rob them of the growth that only comes through struggle.